Hey, I'm back in Ireland under these beautiful grey skies. It's been 2 weeks since I got back in from America, from Burning Man, and I figured it was about time that you and I caught up, and I explained what the hell has been going on with me since I got back to reality, since I got back home. Burning Man was an incredible experience. But before I start talking about that, I should probably talk about last time you and I spoke. Because last time you and I spoke, I was quite nervous. I was full of anxiety. I was not coping well with the idea of getting on a plane or going out to the desert or being in a large crowd or any of it. I put myself through quite the ordeal, I have to say. And that's one thing I realised pretty early is, I put myself through that stuff. I know I can't control it, but I do put myself through a lot with my anxiety, because it's all internalised, it's all in my head, and I'm constantly worrying about, the worst case scenarios. And it does help me in lots of ways, some of which I'll tell you about. And in other ways it hinders me and stops me living a rich and fulfilling life. Thankfully, though, I kind of dealt with my anxiety pretty well. I nearly didn't make it onto the plane. My taxi got a flat tire on the way out, and then when I got to security, I got grilled by, I don't know, American security, TSA, NSA, ECI. I don't know what they were. They put me in a room with a two-way mirror, and it took me 3 hours to get through security, and the plane was late because of me, and they nearly took off without me. But by the time I got on the plane, I was so relieved just to actually make it that I was no longer worried about flying. I was also severely exhausted, so on the plane, that was about, I think, a 10.5 hour flight. I slept for about 8 hours. Maybe 9. I was, literally just completely exhausted, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. I said both, but that's 3 things. But yeah, physically, I hadn't slept in a day or two, and I'd been running around the house trying to get all my shit together. Mentally, the anxiety of the weeks leading up to that trip just... I really felt like I had no anxiety left to process by the time I got on the plane. But more than that, I think really what helped me was that I was actually standing up to my anxiety, to my fears, to my insecurities. Standing up to them actually gave me a lot of strength, and I think I dealt with it really well. It was probably the best flight in my life. I wasn't nervous at all. I listened to music the whole way there and slept. It was great. But I had a lot to face up to. Like I said, anxiety and fears, but I also mentioned insecurities there. And there were more fears than just my own mortality that I was facing. And I feel like I dealt with a lot of those too. My trip through America to Burning Man was eventful. We arrived in America not knowing if we had a car to get out there. And we arrived at Burning Man with a car we'd gotten a loan of, thankfully, but with no vehicle pass. So there were a lot of bumps on the road that nearly prevented me actually making it. And by the time I got there, I was just so happy to be in the desert, in the playa, at Black Rock City, for Burning Man, for the week-long festival that it was. I was so happy to be there, I was no longer afraid, which was amazing. But I also think, I dealt with it. I dealt with the fear, I faced up to it, and that was great. And I got there, I didn't have my first day there until after my first night, because we got there at night. But my first day there, I spent about 18 hours just walking around through the desert, through the playa, in amongst all the tents and stuff, not out on my own in the middle of nowhere. There's 800,000 people there, but I just walked for about 18 hours. And I stopped into a lot of places in the way, and people would just be like, hey, come over and have a massage. There's a massage parlor here. Or would you like to make a sword? I didn't make a sword, but I shot some guns that flames. There was flamethrowers everywhere. There's a lot of flamethrowers at Burning Man. And there was a giant vehicle that was it was a double-decker bus, a 2-story bus, but it was made to look like a fire extinguisher. But then I had a flamethrower at the front, because why not have a fire extinguisher with a flamethrower that drives around everywhere? Yeah, and then people would be like, come in for Japanese rice wine. And then there were dust funnels, like dust cyclones. They're called dust devils out there, apparently. And they were, ripping tents up. And me and a load of people started storm chasing. I didn't get to get inside one, but maybe next year. But yeah, by day one, by my first day there, which was after my first night, I was already trying to run inside dust storms. I was really facing up to that fucking fear of death in a kind of reckless way. But partially the reason I walked around for that long is I was so fucking overwhelmed by everything. First of all, I was overwhelmed by my environment, being out in the desert, seeing dust cyclones, having people just scream at me to come join them for these beautiful things like Japanese rice wine, and I'd just take out a bag of fresh cherries and be like, hey everyone, have fresh cherries, have good minerals before the party tonight. You know? It was good, you know, everyone just gave freely and shared, which was beautiful. But I was overwhelmed by how beautiful it all was and how amazing it all was. And then I was really overwhelmed by my own emotional state. Because I was like, okay, I'm here. Time to deal with these things. Like, I needed to deal with my insecurities, and I needed to deal with my, like, fear of intimacy was one of the first things I dealt with. Because, like, everyone when you get there says, welcome home. Welcome home. Every single person I met for the first night, welcome home. And I really felt that. I felt at home. And they'd give you a hug. And I'm not good with hugs. I used to not be good with hugs. I'm great with hugs now. I did a lot of self-help workshops there. One of which was on intense eye contact and prolonged hugging. And yeah, I'm a better, more productive, healthier person now. But facing up to shit on my first day, being like, okay, I've had hugs from a lot of people, and I keep having to hug people, and I have to get used to this because it's healthy. That was difficult. And then there was the trust issues thing where it was like, oh god, I'm hugging someone. Oh god, they might stab me. Ah! You know, I had to face up to that shit. And then the abandonment issues of like, oh god, what if they reject me? What if they don't want the hug? What if this is a facade? A charade at my fucking expense, but at their expense because I'm unaware of it. You know, I had to fucking face up to a lot of shit, and that's just some of it surrounding my trust issues and issues with abandonment and anxieties, and that's just hugging. But I fucking faced up to all that shit. So on the first day I was just walking around in this daze of like, yes, I'll have your wine, have some cherries, thank you. I'm a shell of a man. Looking back at it now, I can laugh at it, thankfully. But facing up to everything, I'm going to close over this window and go into my room. Facing up to everything was really difficult because it really meant, like, you know, dealing with those internalized issues. I went there wanting to deal with them, wanting to heal, wanting to get better. And I didn't realise just how much I had to face up to. Just how much I had to fucking go through. Just how much I was putting myself through, really. So here I am, back in my room, right? Check it out. The new and improved CJ, the new and improved Kieran, the cure-all. Here, back in these same four walls that I lived in for such an extended period of time. The only place I spent any of my time working, socialising, or, you know, just sleeping. All in this room. It felt really strange to be back in this room when I first got back, honestly. A lot of things have felt really strange coming back to the world after being out in Black Rock City, because it's such a incredible, amazing, different place that the real world is a real shock after you get back into it. And I've had a few moments in this room since I got back that I've really had to deal with. Moments of realising how I'm alone again, you know. I can't just walk 20 paces and meet a beautiful stranger and have a wonderful connection with them and hug and talk for 19 hours. I can't do that anymore. You know, because I'm fucking back here in these four walls. But then I remembered, you know, all the connections I made out there, I found my family out there in Black Rock City. I really did. I found my tribe. I found my pack. I found something really beautiful, and I found a lot of amazing people, and I've been reaching out to those people, emailing them and Facebooking them, just getting back in contact with them and reconnecting. And that's how I'm facing up to that, you know. I'm not letting this feeling of deep loneliness control me and stop me from going out into the world. I've been going out into the world, which is amazing, but also I'm reaching out to the people I care about who I met over there. So I'm fucking getting out of my shell, you know. It's a good feeling. But I kind of had to take 2 weeks before I started recording this video because getting back into reality was difficult, and I had to really understand how I'm coping with things before I could talk to you about them. Like I said, I've had a couple of really difficult moments since I got back, but all of them I've faced up to and I've dealt with, I feel like, in a healthy way. I've changed since leaving here. I really have. I don't just mean on the outside, and I definitely do mean a lot on the inside, but, I mean, take a look at me. How different do I look? Because I feel different. I feel very, very different. You see, I don't think I've changed too much as a person, but I do think I've become more of who I am. I don't feel like I discovered anything new about myself out there, or at least not a whole lot. More what I did was I learned how to express who I am. I learned how to be comfortable with who I am already. I went out there expressing things I never had before. And it felt incredible. It felt wonderful just to be me. There are 10 guiding principles of Burning Man. Self-reliance, inclusion, leave no trace. And the one that really, above all else, I mean, I tried to take them all on board, and sometimes took them on board without trying. But the one I really took on board was radical self-expression. I nearly said sadical Ralph expression. Anyway, radical self-expression. Not just to be you, to be me, but to be me to the fullest extent of who I am. So much so that it is in the extreme. It is radical in nature. And felt really good to do that, and I've been doing it since I got back. One thing I started telling people towards the end of the week was, I'm going to carry the burn home with me. And I have been. In a lot of ways. Mostly by who I am and how I interact with people now. I've changed not the entire fabric of who I am, but I have reworked who I am into a better version of who I used to be. A happier version, a more comfortable version, a less insecure version. A version of myself who's better at expressing himself. Myself. And you know, I'm dressing differently, I'm being myself. I got a tattoo, actually, to carry the burn with me. There it is. There he is. It's the man. You've a heart diverging into 4 arrows there to represent love equals opportunity. Of the man engulfing in flames already, lit from the head. And I have the cure-all written underneath. The cure-all was my playa name. I'll talk about the playa in a little bit, but I'll talk about my playa name first. Tell you all about it. The cure-all, everyone out there on the playa, in the desert. We don't call it the desert, we call it the playa. Everyone out there, or at least a lot of people out there, have a different name. I met someone whose name was Everything. He was amazing. But trying to find them was ridiculous, because you'd walk up to someone like, "Hi, have you seen Everything?" Well, no, I haven't. What? They didn't know what the fuck was going on. Walked up to one person, I asked them, "Hi, do you know Everything?" And he said, "Well, my ex-girlfriend certainly thought I did." And I was just like, "What's happening here? I can't find this fucking person." I met another person named Frida. She was lovely. She was like my sister out there. Frida Future. Everyone's name out there, it says a lot about who they are, but it also it represents them well, I have to say. And my playa name was given to me by my community, by Mission Country Club, the group of people I spent my time out there with. And Mission Country Club, the people there, as well as my cousin Fergus, decided I should be known as the cure-all. Because I was kind of like the weird medicine man there. Somebody would be like, oh, I hurt my foot, and I'd come back with like a splint and like plasters and antiseptics and anti-inflammatories and creams and ointments and like a literal fold-up cane. Literally everything. Because my anxiety drove me to the point in which I thought I'm going to need a remedy to every ailment I could possibly have out there. And I shared that with everyone because I didn't get fucking injured once, and I brought enough for 100 people. Because I'm fucking insane. I used to be insane like that. But that ended up becoming my identity out there. The healer. The person who'd help anyone with anything at any time. You know, glass of fresh water, hurt your ankle, need some companionship. I was there to try and help people. To try and heal people. To try and heal myself in a lot of ways. And that was the name I was given by my community, by the people around me. The cure-all. This new version of me. I like it. I hope you do too, because this is who I am. This is who I've always been, and you might be someone who's never seen this side of me. I think there are definitely people in my life who are going to not notice the difference, because they knew me well enough. I trusted them enough to get close to them that they saw everything in me. And then there are people who, although are close to me, I never let in. Who might see this as different, might see this as new. But I can assure you, the cure-all and Kieran are basically the same person. I'm just a much less damaged version of who I used to be. I said I spent a lot of time out there doing self-help workshops and emotional growth workshops and letting go of intimacy workshops and just workshops all day, every day. Literally all day. Like, the second I discovered they were there, I just kept going and going and going, and they helped so much. I have no footage of any of that. I didn't take out my camera for 4 days, the first 4 days on the playa, because first of all, I was overwhelmed by everything. Second of all, the workshops were an environment that were so personal, wouldn't have been right to take out the camera there. But the main reason I didn't take out the camera for so long at Burning Man was that... So I went to something called the Monkey Chant. The Monkey Chant was incredible. It's a bunch of people sitting around, making these very tribal and primitive noises and movements. Really fucking amazing and powerful to watch. I just had to get up just to do a little movement and have my hands free for that. I can't give you a full explanation because I didn't record it, and I'm not going to ever record anything like that. I realised watching that this is one of the most spiritual and sacred and beautiful things I have ever witnessed in my life, ever been lucky enough and blessed enough to witness. And taking out my camera felt so wrong in that moment. That was something, that moment was, it belonged to everyone there. I mean, people had their cameras out and that didn't bother me, but to take mine out and to try and share that moment with the world didn't feel right. It wasn't my moment to share. And a lot of things in Burning Man felt like that. Felt like this beautiful, amazing thing isn't mine to share with the world. It's mine to appreciate and enjoy, but maybe not mine to show everyone. So I didn't take my camera out, partially because of that, partially because of how overwhelmed I was. I mean, I took it out eventually. I recorded the burn. There's a still of it over there on my computer. But I went out there, and mainly what I did was go to workshops and dance. I danced everywhere, like there was no tomorrow, like no one was watching, just in a radical, self-expressive way. And it was beautiful. At least to me it was. It felt beautiful. It felt wonderful. I have so much to tell you about out there and so little time to do it in, and honestly, I'm gonna have to tell you right now that you're never gonna hear every story out of me from my time in Black Rock City, from my time at Burning Man. You're never gonna hear all of that. There's too much to tell. Every day was like something out of Mad Max. It was like this Dust Bowl, wasteland, but full of incredible, interesting, amazing, beautiful people. It was like just the dust. And then at night, the second the sun would go down over the hills, everyone would howl. And that's when the party would start. Oh, oh, oh. Everyone just fucking howling at the moon, howling as the sun went down. And then the laser light show started, and everyone put like big bright luminescent lights on. The nights were like something out of Star Wars, like a space symphony. Every night and day was so different, because I spent my nights mostly just dancing and fucking partying, I guess, but not really partying. I didn't go to any raves, I didn't take any drugs or intoxicants most of the time I was out there. I drank a good bit, but like, I mean, I was drinking 10 times more water than alcohol because it was the fucking desert. So I was pretty sober the whole time. So, like, I partied in moderation, but I really expressed myself to the fullest extent. You know, the days I spent doing the workshops and growing, and then the nights I spent processing that and just expressing. And I mixed and matched. Sometimes during the nights I grew, and sometimes during the nights I processed. Days I processed. I didn't sleep for the first 3 days out there. Partially I kept saying to myself, I'll take the camera out when I go to bed tonight. That'll be a good way to end night one. And I didn't go to bed till Wednesday. So, like, yeah, it was a fucking crazy experience, and I'm never going to be able to summarize it. I'm never going to be able to show it all to you. I'm never going to be able to tell you all about it. Then there's the playa, right? I told you about the playa. That's what we call it. See, there's no sand out there. It's dust. It's fucking... I have a little jar of it that I carry around my neck the whole time now. I have a lot of stuff I'm carrying around my neck now. Carrying around on my person, bracelets and bands and things that tie me to the people I care about. I'll tell you all about those too. But the playa, that dust, it's not sand. It's the highly alkalinic stuff that before I went out I thought was going to melt my skin and all my equipment. It's the stuff I was literally afraid of before I got there. And then the moment I stepped foot on that playa, I felt at home. Everyone said welcome home. That probably helped. Everyone was so warm and welcoming and caring. I mean, like I said, I found my family out there, so it was easy to feel at home. And when I was leaving the playa, oh, it was so tough. Watching everyone disassemble their camps. Watching these places that are like bars and massage parlours and workshop housings, like domes, dome tents. Watching the places that I grew, watching the places that I met people and connected with people on a really deep level, watching those disappear, some of which got burnt, like literally just like people took all the wood down and fucking threw it in a bonfire. That was so emotional for me. Saying goodbye to the people I met out there was difficult, but saying goodbye to the places out there, those last few days when everyone took down their camps, the last few days were so emotional, so upsetting, so happy in a lot of ways. My friend Frida out there, when I was getting really upset about all that, said, there's a waxing and a waning of everything. There's a beginning and an ending, and right now we're in the waning. We're in the ending. And that's okay. It's a natural part of the process. But the playa. The playa was always there, no matter what got disassembled, no matter what got burnt. The playa was everywhere. It was covered in it all fucking week. It was amazing. I loved that stuff. At the monkey chant, at one point, I was on the ground, using the sweat from the palms of my hands and my body from the hot sun, just putting my hands in the playa and making like playa mud handprints all up and down my body. Both sides. And my cousin Fergus just looked down at the ground at me. He was sitting there still watching the monkey chant. I sort of was, but I was pretty in with the playa. And he just looked at me and said, "You love that stuff, don't you?" And I just looked back up at him, covered in it, handprints on my face, like, yeah. He's like, "You look like something out of fucking Mad Max, the new one, Fury Road." And he's like, that character, we got into talking about Mad Max for a few minutes. But I fucking loved that playa dust. It was like my someone at one point, okay, so there's so much about the playa, okay? I've come back a crazy playa worshipper, just to let you know, I'm a crazy playa worshipper now. Dust is fucking magic. There's a saying out there, the playa provides, and that's so true, in so many weird ways. So, water, one of the most important things out on the playa. And one day after like a small argument with my cousin, that was kind of mostly my fault because I'm an over emotional mess on the best of days. But it's, you know, it's who I am and I love me. But we had a fight, or an argument I should say, and I stormed out of camp, not like in a fucking, well, I suppose it was probably in a dramatic way, but I didn't like slam a door at, and there were no doors to slam. I just fucking like, I needed a few minutes to fucking cool off. So I walked out to where I could see the man had been burnt the night before. It was just a big ash pile. And I actually went out and collected some of the ash in a little vial. Some of the charcoal from the man after he got burnt. And but I forgot my water and I forgot my lighter. So I just started picking up trash on the way out there and putting it in a little bag that I had around my wrist all week. It's called mooping. Mooping, you go out and you pick up the moop, all the trash. You leave no trace when you're there. The playa is so beautiful, and you know, it was such a beautiful environment and I wanted to keep it clean. But I've always been someone who's been like a big hippie, and I was like, you know, I believe if you look after the earth will look after you. But that felt truer on the playa than it did anywhere else to me in this world. The playa was something else entirely. And yeah, so I just went out picking up trash on my way out to see the man. But as I got to like deep playa, where there are no more tents, where you're just walking through the desert on the way out to the man, I was like, fuck, I have to go back for water. Okay. And then someone pulled up in a Jeep behind me. This was obviously a couple who'd packed up everything they owned, and they were giving one drive around the deep playa before they left. I could see that immediately, but the guy let his window down, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Can I interest you in some?" And he had said, like, "Can I interest you in?" And already I was like, fuck, this guy's trying to sell me drugs. I don't want to buy drugs. Leave me alone. I've just had an argument. Stop. But then he finished the sentence, and by the time he finished the sentence, he said, "Can I interest you in some water?" And I was like, "Water, you say? That would be fantastic. I don't have a cup, though." And he was like, "I saw that. That's why we pulled over." And I was like, "Oh, I was just about to turn back and go back to camp because I didn't want to go further without water." And he was like, "Well, there, don't worry." And he gave me a fucking liter jug, like this really good, not this, but another, like, plastic, really good, big orange fucking water thing. And I mean, I probably have it downstairs, but it's just such an example of, like, I guess that was the people on the playa providing, but to me it felt like the playa providing. To me it felt like, oh, I've spent some time picking up trash, and karmically I have been rewarded with life-giving water. That's how it felt. And I kept walking, and I kept moving, and I kept drinking my water. And, no, I thought I could... Oh, I do! I have the water container I was given by that lovely couple out there. I just thought I'd get it to show you, because, like... I mean, it holds, like, 100 milliliters. Like, over 32 fluid ounces. And they just gave this to me full of, like, ice-cool water from, like, a massive... Like, they had a big barrel of water, and they just, like, in the back of their camper van, and just, like... Or Jeep, or whatever it was. And just, like, poured me a liter and gave it to me, and on my way. And I kept moving on my way out to the man before I collected some of the ash. There you can see it's in a little vial there. I got a lot of charcoal from the man. Every now and then I put a little on myself. Just to, you know, because... And every now and then when I meet people, I'm like, who are like really interested that I was at Burning Man, if I tell them, I give them some of the ash, and I'm like, you know, come out sometime, here's some of the ash. It's like you were there. Be anointed by the man. This year's theme was radical ritual, so I really got into that whole thing. Into the ritual side of everything. So now I'm anointing people with ash, and I'm a crazy playa worshipper. But seriously, that playa was amazing. I found a pack of matches while I was out mooping the same day. I found a pack of matches. And I was able to smoke cigarettes. Because, like, I had cigarettes but no lighter. And I really felt like the more I looked after the playa, the more it looked after me. In fact, actually, I'm going back downstairs right now. Oh, no, I'm not. Fuck that. But I found other stuff that day. Stuff that was really uplifting. I mean, I'll take some pictures and put them in the video, maybe. But, yeah, it's just my whole time spent out there was incredible. Really, such a beautiful, wonderful, transformative time of my life. I feel like I was rebirthed out there. And I had a rebaptism ceremony where I was rebaptized in the playa dust. It was a beautiful ceremony. I have all the footage of it. You've probably seen it by now, or you will see it. I don't know. Yeah, I really came back a new version of myself. So here I am, the cure-all, new and improved, being who I was always meant to be, which feels incredible. I don't know what else to tell you, but the thing is I probably have a lot more to tell you. I probably have a lot more to show you. I'm only back 2 weeks. I'm barely adjusting to reality again. The gifting culture and the no commerce. No, you can't spend money on the playa. And there's no barter either. Everyone just gives each other stuff. Like I said, day one there, I was just giving out a bag of cherries and people were giving me rice wine and massages and offering to teach me how to smelt swords. You can't spend money out there. It's just everyone gives freely of both love and commodity. So coming back to the world where no one gives a shit, people won't even give you the time of day. You have to pay for things with money and not hugs. It's weird. It's weird coming back here. It's great. It's great coming back here as the new me. It's great being in these four walls, surrounded by these four walls, and not like... not feeling trapped by them. So the thing is, though, as much as I've grown as a person, as much as I've come back a new version of myself, I feel like some of my old problems have come back too. I was sitting in the car. We just put all our camp into the storage unit. And that was a really sad moment. But we were on the way back and David Bowie's Let's Dance came on the radio. And I'd heard that a few times out on the playa. And I danced with a few people to it, and I danced on my own to it. And I started getting like really emotional listening to the song. Really happy, really like very happy, just like remembering all the good moments. A little sad too, but mostly like 98% happy. And then I realised that I'm having an emotional reaction to a song. And I can't really remember the last time I've had an emotional reaction to a song other than to occasionally cry at certain songs. To be happy during a song, to feel a mix of emotions during a song. I realised that I'd become such a... I shut myself off so much from other people that I started to feel less. I actually experience emotion deeper than I used to. And I feel like it's really good that I left that behind me, that I left that repression of myself. It's really good that I left that behind me, but at the same time it's really bad that I was living that way for so long without even being aware of it. And now I'm a much more emotional person, and that can be difficult. Feeling things deeply is hard. And it's kind of reminding me why I must have tried to stop doing that subconsciously, because feeling things as deeply as I do, I guess it fucked me up for a while. But now it's amazing. Now it's... You know, I had to deal... At first, when that came back, when that hyper-emotionality, that hypersensitivity came back, I was mad at myself, I guess. Wanted it to go away. I didn't want to be hyper emotional all the time, hypersensitive to everything. But that's part of who I am, and I'm not going to deny that part of myself anymore. I'm not going to deny any part of myself anymore. So a lot came back to who I am, that I'd repressed, that I'd made go away. Good and bad came back, I guess. But it's all me, so I'm happy with all of it, you know? I'm not going to call anything about myself bad anymore. I'm not going to say there are different sides to me anymore. It's all just part of a whole. This. So... this has kind of been my debriefing after Burning Man. I'll probably have 1 or 2 more of these with you. I mean, I've only been back 2 weeks. I still need to get a shave and a haircut. I want to get a hot towel shave after being out in the desert. My skin was in bits when I got home. I was caking myself in playa, so like, that stuff gives you... it's supposed to give you 3rd degree chemical burns, but it fucking didn't hurt me at all. Apparently it's really bad when you breathe it in. I was breathing it in all week. I'm fine. I'm not saying everyone else will be fine, but I think I spiritually bonded with the playa so deep that it refused to hurt me. Like I said, I'm a crazy playa worshipper now. Burning Man will do that to a person. Oh, it feels great to be back. It felt amazing to be out there. It feels good to be talking with you, actually. I haven't done that in like 2 weeks now, so it feels really good to be doing that. And we'll talk again soon, I promise. There'll definitely be another debriefing. I'll bring the camera with me when I get this done. Shave it all off. Go all baby-faced. Get my pores... oh, my pores are full of playa dust. And it feels great, but at the same time I'm like, shaving a haircut be good for me. I'm gonna get another tattoo. I got this like henna tattoo out there in the playa. It's pretty faded now, but it's my name in Ogham, the old like Celtic writing. I'm gonna get a permanent tattoo of that in my leg. A friend of mine, Greg, did that for me, and I'm gonna get an exact tracing of that done. I think he'll be pretty happy about that. Mission Country Club was my camp out there, but they are also my family. I found my home out there, I found my family out there, I found myself out there. There's a song by Kevin Morby called Parade, and there's a few lines in it that have really been fucking stuck in my head the last few days, and it's that all of my friends were out there waiting on me, all of the glory was out there waiting on me, and I was out there waiting on me. And every time I tear up a little bit every time I think of those lyrics, and I cry every time I hear them. It with tears of joy, because I'm so happy at the idea that I feel like I was out there waiting on me. I feel like I spent 25 years looking for who I am, and I finally fucking found it. And that is one of the best feelings in the world. And no matter what you go out to Black Rock City to find, you'll find it. Burning Man is something indescribable. Black Rock City has its own airport. It has its own stamps and postal system. It's a city. For a week, it's a city. Just for a week. Where you can't spend any money. Where you have no choice but to be open and loving with everyone. Because it feels so good to do that why would you make any other choice? Where you can do anything. Learn to smelt a sword. Get over those issues you had about your father. You know, leave a part of yourself behind. Find something new about yourself. You know, join a sex cult. Be part of a burlesque show. Be part of a fashion shoot. You can do anything out there. No matter what you go do out there, it'll change you. In the best ways. If you're open to it. If you go out there and accept it all and just live the burn. It'll change you. Like I said, I have to do another one of these debriefing videos with you, because there's probably so much more I have to say. But for now, I'm gonna just leave it at this. For now, I'm just gonna tell you that I feel so much better since going out there. I feel comfortable expressing myself. I feel comfortable hugging people. Didn't have that before. I feel comfortable in a lot of ways I used to not feel comfortable. In a lot of ways I used to be insecure. I feel different, but somehow the same. Like I'm more of myself. People have told me things since I got back, like, you know, you seem taller than you were before. People actually think I seem taller, and it's a better posture now. People have told me, you seem straighter now. Or you seem gayer now. Or you seem, you know, happier now. And I'm more of everything. I'm more of everything. And that's amazing to me. It's a great feeling. People out there called me the cure-all. And I found the cure for everything that was ailing me. I still have some issues to deal with, and I'm not naive to that. I'm still dealing with them. Still dealing with my insecurities in a big way. But I'm getting better with them, and I have tools to deal with them now. Thanks to the amazing people I met out there who helped me grow. To my friends and family on the playa. Who gave me everything I needed. I just hope I gave them something back. We'll talk more later. I don't know how much later. Maybe in another 2 weeks. Maybe in another day when I get my fucking shave. Maybe in another year after I get back from Burning Man a second time. Because I'm going out there every single year for the rest of my life. I'm going to spend every birthday I ever have out there on the playa. I got rebaptized for my 25th birthday. I am a new man. I am the cure-all now. I have the potential to heal everyone around me if I put my mind to it. I learned that about myself out there. People saw something in me that I didn't know existed. A potential to help and heal others. Both emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I said both for 3 things again. Full circle. So, that's who I am now, and I'm gonna go out there every single birthday for the rest of my life, cause, you know, I am 3 weeks old now since my rebaptism, since my rebirth. Okay, I'm 25 in 3 weeks, but I am 3 weeks old now. I learned to ride a bike out on the playa when I was one day old. Like literally the morning after the night of my baptism. Rebaptism in the dry lake of the playa. No water involved, just dust. Baptized in the playa. No baptism of fire, no baptism of water, baptism of playa dust. But the morning after I learned to ride a bike. And it was fucking incredible. I feel unstoppable now. This new version of me is amazing, and I love him. And I'm gonna be him forever. You know, I'm gonna keep changing. 'Cause change is good, growth is healthy. But I'm so happy with who I am now. Thanks for listening. I hope we talk again. Slán go fóill.